Hello, today is Sunday morning, February 11th, and I figured I would come down in the cellar and actually make a video to put up on the home renovation section of my YouTube channel. It's partly because I never come down here, and I don't think I've ever actually done a video from here. Yesterday was the day that we replaced the pipes that go to the kitchen sink because they're terribly corroded. And what we did was to replace the copper pipe with PEX tubing. So let me start from over here. I'm in the section of the downstairs that is under the addition. And we see the PEX tubing here, which is this white stuff. I'm going to put up some hangers to suspend it from. That will be nicer and get it out of the way. One of the tricks here was that it goes up through the first floor into an unknown space there. There's a space between the bottom of the cabinet where the sink is mounted and this part here. We used a trick involving a shish kebab skewer to make sure we could insert the pipe there. Mitch gets all the credit for that. They had put this, I guess they call it spaghettis if it's in the pool, but this foam stuff around the pipes for insulating purposes. This part of the kitchen had actually got the spray foam. The whole basement had got spray foam around the edges back along. That's great for energy heat envelope construction, but you can't visually inspect the sills from the inside to see what kind of shape they're in. I know there's spots where it's evident from the outside that this house is going to need sill work in a bunch of locations. Just haven't gotten around to doing that. I stabilized them 2 summers ago, and at some point I'm going to have to replace a bunch of patches of the sills, but that's kind of an issue here. I do have forced air. This pipe here goes to the septic tank and leach field, and then we actually have a separate one that is attached to the sump pump here. And when the previous owners had a washing machine, the gray water from the washing machine also in there, but since the washing machine is gone, we have this pipe here that's actually connected to nowhere. It does not emit methane, and it actually helps to kind of burp the sump pump area. Now you'll notice, I've said in my other videos that the whole purpose of digging out the ditch outside was to dry out the cellar. It's February 11th, and I rarely have had the sump pump go on all winter time because I've rarely had any water in here. This section here used to be all muddy and have standing water in it. That's not good for mildew. It's not good for a lot of reasons. One other thing to say is, from an energy effective viewpoint, one of the things you can always do that helps is to go down into your cellar, turn the lights off, and figure out if there's gaps in these foundations where you can see daylight. Fill them with spray foam. It will cut down airflow into the area and make it warmer. So this is the cold water tank, and that goes to the well. We have never seen the well here because the wooden staircase outside is on top of it. Seems to be working now. In past winters, water comes through these gaps in the stone, dripping constantly. And we've had times when we've had 3 to 6 inches of water. And actually, when we viewed the house the first time, the sump pump was not working, and we actually had about 1 foot of water down here. They've had previous things here. You can sort of see the concrete has got wet spots, which are dark, but there is no water, no substantial water in here at all. And that's kind of the thing now. In the blog, I mentioned that the pipes, now there was corrosion in the, there was corrosion in the faucet. But then when we took the pipes out, we also noticed there were spots like this where it was just easy to bend, and then you realized that without a lot of work, this was easy to twist. And it's just full of corrosion in, basically much more friable pipe than what you would have wanted it to be. So Mitch said, oh, what the heck, we're down here, we'll replace it all. And so that's what he did. He replaced it back to the spot under the junction between the old and new building, and actually put in shut-off valves on the section that leads out to the kitchen, which we didn't have before. So that's what these, I don't know what kind of valve you call that, a wing valve or something, where it's got the lever on it. And that's kind of the story of the downstairs here. The other thing is, when there's been periods of standing water, we do have these construction jacks. And you'll notice there's some gray ones that are newer. And then there's some red ones that are older. And we had to look at the red ones, and many of them had been left in standing water for periods of time. The bottom 8 inches had rusted out. That's why we put them next to each other. The new one is there. In some cases, we put a pad on it to keep it out of water and to conserve it. You can't just let all these stand on rust. That's the same as having the biblical feet of clay. So anyhow, that's it. Then over here, when I first got here, there'd actually been like dirt here. And then Dustin, our buddy who comes over and helps, and it was wet dirt because there was, every time it rained, there was water coming through that section of the wall. And it was musty down here. Dustin said, well, you know, you should shovel that out. I bet you there's a concrete pad under there. That'll clean the place up. And sure enough, there was a concrete pad. Shoveled it out and brought it outside in buckets. And the net effect between fixing the ditch, getting rid of this, and every other thing is that if you come in the cellar, you're no longer overwhelmed by the musty smell here, and it's much more stable, in better shape than it had been. This is very typical construction with the big stones under the frost line, and then something else higher. That's about it. That corner over there still gets a little bit of water from the roof and such, but even that's not all that deep at this time. But that's kind of what the summary of the downstairs is. Catch you later.